Let's get into it. Hey you guys, I'm Eden Strader. Welcome back to my channel. I'm excited for today because I have been on this kick lately of finding inspiration anywhere I can. If you are a creative and you make your artwork your business, it is truly your job to stay creatively inspired. And as someone that's been doing this full time for nearly a decade this year, which is crazy, and has been through copious long-term times of burnout, I take this very seriously these days. And starting around like a year, 2 years ago, I started getting very serious about like, how can I find inspiration outside of photography? Because I think when we find inspiration within our niche, it's super easy to end up replicating things or copying things, even if it's unintentional. Yes, we put a lot of stress on copying that's like intentional and obvious, but sometimes you copy and you don't even realize. Like, we are ingesting so much content every hour, every day, every month, every year, that like inevitably, if you're trying to do something new, your brain is going to pull from things that you've recently seen. So it's super important to me that I don't receive inspiration from something that could be very easily, blatantly, and subconsciously copied within my work. All of this is to say, I've been really trying to get more intentional about my media, specifically movies, which I'm not a huge movie watcher typically. It has to be really enthralling to keep my ADHD locked in. So I want to unpack some of my favorite movies and why they're my favorite movies and how I seek inspiration from them as a photographer. One of the things that's super important to me when I am ingesting media like this, what works for me is that I try really hard to figure out like what gear they're using, what aperture they're shooting at, how they lit things. Specifically, I love lighting. I love lighting. If you're new here, you don't know me that well, I am obsessed with harsh light and I'm obsessed with artificial light. We have tons of resources on both that I'll put in the caption. Information, I don't know. I'm new here. One, it keeps me really checked into the movie to have something to kind of focus in on other than just ingesting the movie itself. Again, ADHD vibes, but it's made me such a better creative. And another thing that I've really loved doing is deep diving the movie, whether that's on YouTube after or learning more about the director or the DP and learning about their process and how they approach the film. Anyway, let's start off so strong because each of these are going to be very different. That was my goal. But movies that I 1, don't shut up about. 2, watch constantly. These are the movies I want to reach for, and I have to like challenge myself to reach for a movie I haven't seen before. So number 1 is going to be Tree of Life. This came out in 2011. It features Brad Pitt and Jessica Chastain as the leads. And let me go ahead and just read the description for you. This highly philosophical film by acclaimed director Terrence Malick, young Jack is one of the 3 brothers growing up as part of the O'Brien family in small town Texas. Jack has a contentious relationship with his father, played by Brad Pitt, but gets along well with his beautiful mother, Jessica Chastain. As an adult, Jack, played by Sean Penn, struggles with his past and tries to make sense of his childhood while also grappling with bigger existential issues. That's such a good summary of that movie. Okay, 6.8 on IMDb is a lie. Even 85% on Rotten Tomatoes feels low. This movie, let's start with the ethos. It is a beautiful film. If you have daddy issues at all whatsoever, I am going to warn you that it's going to take you out. Same with religious trauma. 2 for 2 for that one for me. So this film always gets me in my feels, which that's what I want when I'm watching a movie. I want some sort of emotional reaction. I want to be questioning my life after. This film would honestly be worth watching on its own just based off like the principal acting ethos. However, the filming, guys, it is such a unbelievably filmed movie. It is so beautiful. The way I would describe it is like, 1, it's filmed the way that I want to photograph, and it's also filmed almost in like a mood board style. And the fact that they have so many clips and so much filming that's very like Nat Geo-esque to really pull you out of this like, I'm this person on earth, they're these people on earth, and instead have you focus on this bigger picture of like what the world is and what the universe is. And so there's such beautiful footage of so many incredible parts of nature and the world, and both here on Earth and, you know, in space. Like it's so beautiful, and it really encapsulates the human experience from birth until death and even after death. I cannot recommend this movie enough. It's one of those movies where if you're gonna watch it at night and or set aside the rest of the day to just kind of be in your brain. Brooding artist vibe. I'm going to take the hardest of pivots for number 2, which is a personal favorite of mine and has been watched at least 10 million times, Challengers. Oh my God. One, you look it up, it says sports/romance. Not a combo we're usually seeing, nor one that you're gonna see this girly, a lesbian who doesn't play sports, cheering on. However, one of the best movies of our time. Let me go ahead and read this description for you. We have Tashi, played by Zendaya, a tennis player turned coach, has transformed her husband from a mediocre player into a world-famous Grand Slam champion. To jolt him out of his recent losing streak, she makes him play a challenger event, close to the lowest level of tournament on the pro tour. Tensions soon run high when he finds himself standing across the net from the once promising, now burnt out Patrick, his former best friend and Tashi's former boyfriend. One, if you're a straight person, I do need to know what your take on the boys is. What was your take between Art and Patrick? Because like, as a gay person who has a lot of gay friends, and or my straight friends are all surrounded by queer people as well, this is one of the most queer coded movies of all time. Like, it is so queer. I'm dying because I'm like looking at my computer and the second search says, is Challengers a queer movie? Yeah. Absolutely. This is some of the most intense queer tension I've ever seen in my life, but I am always like, I need to talk to a straight person. Like, what was your guys' take on Art and Patrick? Anyway, I digress. The filming of this movie. One, you're going to be on your toes the entire time. It's an incredible film, and it's all based on the game of tennis. And one of the things that I love so much about it is that the tension and the energy of the film feels like you're playing a tennis game, and you're watching these characters, yes, play tennis on the screen, but they're also kind of like playing tennis with each other psychologically. It's such a cool film, and I'm obsessed with it. But then on top of that, the aesthetics of this movie are so crazy. It is so beautifully put together, and the composition within it is some of the best I've ever seen. It's also very punchy, very bold in its editing, which is something I'm always going to reach for. But oh my God, they were so creative with the way that they shot this movie. It is not a movie that is shot, you know, maybe on a rotation of 3 different lenses. It's like every way that you can film something, they did. And I'm obsessed with it. This movie is absolutely incredible. Okay, number 3, we have Atonement. This is an older movie. Older. It came out in 2007. It features James McAvoy and Keira Knightley. Also, Saoirse Ronan plays a child in it, and I will never forgive her. Spoiler. Let's go ahead and read our little summary. This sweeping English drama based on the book by Ian McGowan follows the lives of young lovers Cecilia Tallis and Robbie Turner when the couple are torn apart by a lie constructed by Cecilia's younger sister, Bryony, Saoirse Ronan, who I love, but not in this. All 3 of them must deal with the consequences. Robbie is the hardest hit since Bryony's deception results in his imprisonment, but hope for Cecilia and her beau increases when their paths cross during World War II. 1, someone suggested this to me and they just said Atonement and they didn't say what it was. As a former Mormon, my body immediately was like, no, thank you. I don't watch religious movies. Nothing about this movie is religious. This movie is like, if you've ever gone on Pinterest and looked up garden fairy film core, that's this movie. It is filmed so beautifully. Me about every movie. I don't think it was shot on film, but it might as well have been. It's another film where they just used a plethora of techniques to create very different scenes and emotions. They're also very deliberate with color theory and color play, and it's also edited very filmy, which I always find very enticing. I also think we don't get access to movies that often that look like a film photograph, and that's what this movie is. It's really funny because you're gonna look it up and you're like, the cover looks like a war movie. Like, I guess it technically is, but if you go on Pinterest and you look up Atonement aesthetic, that's gonna change your life and you're gonna get locked in immediately. This is another movie where I like want to sit down and just like debrief it with people for 2 hours, because not only is the plot and the acting so good, but it's just like, if I could shoot someone's wedding and it was Atonement themed, you bet I would. Okay, let's move on to 4. Again, another hard pivot. There's really none that are like that similar within this video, but I'm really trying to like flip between aesthetics. This next one is Saltburn. It came out in 2023, and it's not something I recommend to everyone because it's weird. Like, it's a weird movie. You're gonna gasp several times. I know a lot of straight people walked out of the theater when it came out, because it's like kind of messed up. It's very like thriller. For some reason, they have it classified when you Google it as thriller comedy. Comedy feels like I would say like more of a thriller slash like big social commentary. Like we might have to do a separate video just completely picking apart. Sure. Anyway, we might have to do an entire video really unpacking the social commentary within this film when it comes to different classes and wealth classes. Sure, Mimi. Mimi, I'm working, girl. Okay. Very determined to work with us. Okay, let me go ahead and read you this short synopsis, though, which says, troubled by his classmates' unfortunate living situation, wealthy Oxford student Felix invites Oliver to stay at his estate, but a series of horrifying events soon engulf his eccentric family. This is featuring Barry Keoghan, Jacob Elordi, my personal favorite, Rosamund Pike from one of my favorite movies, Gone Girl, that isn't on this because aesthetically it didn't change my life, but God, that film is so good. Go watch that as well. Anyway, one, this movie's gonna keep you on your toes the entire time. It's another beautifully filmed, very Y2K-esque approach to aesthetics. There's a nice rotation within the filming between like clearly like steady cam and handheld filming, which I really love. I love a film that feels like I'm in it, and they do a really good job at that. Their composition is also beautiful, incredible. The colors are so punchy. I also just love a film that shows a huge juxtaposition between the lives that people live. One of the characters also reminds me of my ex. So for me, it was very like, dang, there really are people like that out there. That's crazy. It's incredible. I highly recommend watching it. Anyway, just know that like these are the top 3 searches for Saltburn. We have, is Saltburn a good film? Yes. What the heck is Saltburn about? Fair. And why is Saltburn hard to watch? 4th, is the Saltburn movie scary? It's not scary. I don't like scary films. However, this is going to be used several times. What? How could a human ever do that? So just be warned. Still, great watch. Do not watch it with your parents. On to other movies I would not suggest watching with your parents. My parents are Mormon, so I'm a little bit more conservative in this approach naturally, but do with that what you will. Next is Call Me By Your Name. It came out in 2017. This has Armie Hammer in it, as well as Timothée Chalamet. Great lineup. Let me go ahead and read you the synopsis. So we have, it's the summer of 1983, and 17-year-old Elio is spending the days with his family at their 17th century villa in Lombardy, Italy. He soon meets Oliver, a handsome doctoral student who's working as an intern for Elio's father. Amid the sun-drenched splendor of their surroundings, Elio and Oliver discover a heady, says a lot about me, beauty of awakening desire over the course of a summer that will alter their lives forever. 1, gay. So if you're a bigot, I don't know what you're doing in this video anyway, but get out now. This movie is so beautiful. It has a almost adjacent aesthetic to Atonement, but Atonement gives more like Portra 400, and Call Me By Your Name, what's more blue? Kodak maybe? I don't know. It's a little bit more of like a blue-green approach to film, but it is filmed on film. Like it is filmed on film. It is so beautiful. If you are obsessed with like a film European summer, oh, you're gonna love this film. You are gonna cry at the end though. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news. It's a great film. It's going to move you. There's a monologue by the father at the end, played by Michael Stahlberg, that truly shakes me to my core, and I think about it 24/7. We will have to discuss this once you've watched the film, because the I'm like going to cry even just thinking about it. Anyway, just know it has a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it should. Up next, we have Timothée Chalamet again. This is a movie that like, I truly don't even remember the aesthetics. I have watched this movie once, and I think about it at least once a week, and I watched it, I don't know, when did it come out? 2018? I saw it in theaters. This movie is Beautiful Boy. It's Steve Carell and Timmy, my boy Timmy. So teenager Nicholas Sheff seems to have it all good with grades and being an actor, artist, athlete, and the director of the school newspaper. When Nick's addiction to meth threatens to destroy him, his father does whatever he can to save his son and family. This movie, again, I have watched it once because it still destroys me to think about. This is not a movie you watch lightly. This is not a movie you watch when you have plans after. And this is not a movie I would suggest if you're not doing well mentally. It is so depressing and so beautiful, and a film that I truly think that everyone should watch at some point in their lifetime, but I would be intentional in what space you go into it. Again, I can't even remember the aesthetics. I do know it's filmed very well, but like, this is a movie I would watch strictly to change the way that you view humans, which if you are a photographer that works with humans, which you likely are. And I know it sounds weird to be like, hey, as a wedding photographer, you should watch a movie about a teenager struggling with meth. But it really is this like, it just shakes you to your core and completely changes the way that you view humanity, which I think is a practice that we need to take very seriously as photographers that are very integrated into very extreme, beautiful, intimate moments of people's lives. I literally like have chills and I'm going to cry even just thinking about it. Maybe I'll watch it again on its 10-year anniversary, but like this movie will change the way that you operate as a human. Just know that. Up next, we have potentially my favorite movie ever. And let me first say, I don't do well with gore and I don't watch scary movies. This is the scariest, goriest movie I can tolerate. It is gory. It is scary. The gore gets campier as you go on. Anyway, it's The Substance. We will have to make a video that is exclusively dedicated to The Substance because I can talk about this movie till the cows come home. Oh my God. Let me go ahead and just read the synopsis first. Fading actress Elizabeth Sparkle becomes distressed when her chauvinistic boss fires her from her aerobics show. She soon injects herself with a mysterious serum that promises a younger, better version of herself, but things go horribly wrong. Oh my God. Where do I start? With this? First of all, it's Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley, who are both phenomenal in this. Like, they deserved everything they got nominated for. Like, this movie is crazy. Let's start with the premise and then we'll move into aesthetics. One, the commentary on women and the way that we are expected to show up in society, the way that we are treated in society, the way that age affects our tolerance and quality of life is beautiful and so needed. And honestly, haunting. Like, it, as someone turning 30, which is not old at all, by the way, but has been foretold to be old, like, this was a crazy movie to watch. I also think, like, those of us that are, yes, millennials, we kind of grew up towards the, well, one, let me just say, things are not perfect yet, but like, we were kind of at this tail end of like really toxic body image. Like, God bless this younger generation. They're not having to grow up as much with the runway models being the only thing they ever see. Like, there's a lot more body representation nowadays, but like my generation, when I was a kid, it was a lot of just like, you're either rail thin or get out. Like, we're never gonna look at you. I also think it's like a incredibly important ethos and topic to discuss in media right now, considering how prevalent and common appearance altering procedures are, such as like filler and Botox and what have you. There is such a high expectation for women and the way that we age and what we look like, and this movie is such a disturbing commentary on that, and look into that. Now let's talk about the aesthetics. I am in love with the way that this movie is filmed, and I'm going to link a YouTube video for you below that I have made quite literally anyone that's ever talked to me watch. It completely unpacks the way that they filmed this movie, and the director, Corley Fairgotts, so sorry if I butchered that. This woman is a genius. She sketched out all of the scenes and was so specific on both the micro and macro captures that we see within the film. And I won't spoil this other YouTube video for you that you do. It has so many spoilers, so like, don't watch it until you've watched the movie. But they unpack exactly how they filmed everything. And this DP is also just like amazing. Like, the DP executed Corley's vision so well. This was a team dedicated to the arts, and the arts in a way that we don't really see that often because CGI and AI are so easily accessible and so common within the arts these days. They used nearly no CGI, which, when I want you to go into this movie knowing that there's like one piece of CGI at the very end. They were so dedicated to the arts in this that they filmed things that so easily could have been AI or CGI, and like, you get insight into them filming even like light streaks or fire. They didn't take AI, they didn't use technology in a way that would have made easy, like, filming so, I'm like getting worked up. It would have been so much easier, faster, and cheaper to use AI and or CGI to make this film, and they were so dedicated to the artistry of it and the energy that goes into filming that they did it all themselves. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. And like rewatching this movie back with the knowledge that I gained from that YouTube video shook me to my absolute core. I cannot talk enough about this movie. Please watch it. I'm literally begging. Yes, if you're allergic to gore like me, it is a harder watch, but I will say this, there's not a lot of jump scares. Like, I don't like a movie where it's about to get gory and I had no idea. Like, I need to know that I can, if I need. And you can do that in this movie, but like, oh my God. I will be talking about this movie until I'm 6 feet under. It is so unbelievable. Anyway, for the sake of time, I digress, but that's my favorite movie ever. Okay, up next, we have another kind of gay one. I promise that wasn't the intention of this, but sometimes gay people do it better. Stay mad. Okay, this one's Mulholland Drive. This came out in 2001. It's old. It's David Lynch. I have heard so much about this movie and I finally watched it last year. Let me go ahead and read. Let's read our little synopsis. A dark-haired woman is left amnesiac. I'm really doubting my pronunciation of words right now. Anyway, after a car crash, she wanders the streets of Los Angeles in a daze before taking refuge in an apartment. There she is discovered by Betty, a wholesome Midwestern blonde who has come to the City of Angels seeking fame as an actress. Together, the two attempt to solve the mystery of Rita's true identity. The story is set in a dreamlike Los Angeles, spoilt neither by traffic jams nor smog. Okay, this movie is insane. That's my first critique. This movie is crazy. It's 2.5 hours long, so know that. I did not look at how long the movie was before starting it late at night, and then I had to finish it naturally. This movie is crazy. It is the only movie in my life that I have had to look up a YouTube explanation on after. Just watched YouTube videos deep diving this movie after. Like, I could not wrap my head around it. It like messed with my brain so much that I literally left it being like, am I stupid? Am I dumb? Like, I don't understand what I just watched. It's beautifully filmed. It's so intricate. The acting is so interesting. And I love a think piece. I love a movie where I leave being like, what did I just watch? That was crazy. Also, just like, there's something about older movies, right? 2001, it's not that old, but like, it was 25 years ago almost. They just had such less access to the tools that we have now that I love seeing what they were able to do, right? It's kind of like The Substance, where it's like they were doing this in manual. Like, they did not have access to the tools nor the technology that we have today in the arts. I'm obsessed with this movie. I actually really need to watch it again. It'll be 1 year since I watched it this summer, and I really want to understand it better. But like, there's something really beautiful to say about artwork that you like can't understand easily, that makes you think, right? Because that's like what art should do. Like, yes, sometimes things are just pretty, but like sometimes they should have you like digging to figure out what is going on. And this is one of those films. Just know that the number one search suggestion on Google is, what the heck is Mulholland Drive about? Go into that with that in mind. Okay, second to last, we're doing another real hard shift to Poor Things that came out in 2023. Looking at Emma Stone here. I also forget that Margaret Qualley's in it. Mark Ruffalo. Great cast. Oh, and Willem Dafoe. There's a lot of actors in this. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's read this synopsis. Brought back to life by an unorthodox scientist, a young woman runs off with a lawyer on a whirlwind adventure across the continent. Free from the prejudices of her time, she grows steadfast in her purpose to stand for equality and liberation. This movie is, oh my gosh, what are the odds she's going to say incredible? It's a great movie. Like, the acting is great. The storyline is great. The ethos of it is great. The filming of it is insane. I love a movie that feels like someone got high and just like word vomited their entire stream of consciousness. And that's what this movie feels like. This movie feels like if you've ever gotten too high and like you try to watch a show, or like if you've ever watched, oh my gosh, what is it called? Midnight Gospel. I never remember the name of that for some reason, but I love that show. If you haven't watched Midnight Gospel, I highly recommend it. Imagine Midnight Gospel was real, like it wasn't cartoon. That's kind of what Poor Things feels like. Anyway, aesthetically, insane. A feast for the eyes. We are going to end with a movie that will absolutely destroy you to your core. And not a movie I'd watch lightly. However, I do think it's a movie that everyone needs to see. My best friend unfortunately watched it on a plane. Yeah, tough watch. This is kind of like when I accidentally watched A Star is Born on the plane. Who let that movie be on a plane? Anyway, same type of movie. Don't watch it on a plane. In this, we have Paul Mescal and we have Andrew Scott. They are beyond oh my God, performance of their career. So beautiful, so good. Let's dive into the synopsis. One night in his near empty London tower block, screenwriter Adam has a chance encounter with mysterious neighbor Harry, puncturing the rhythm of his everyday life. As a relationship develops between them, Adam finds himself drawn back to his childhood home where his parents appear to be living just as they were on the day they died 30 years ago. I think I've watched this movie twice now, and like it's not as destroying as Beautiful Boy, but it's like gonna mess you up. It's gonna mess you up. But again, I think as artists, especially ones that work with human beings as much as a lot of us do, it is important to expose ourselves to different ways of living and different life paths. This will eat you alive. The filming, unbelievable. The lighting in it specifically is one of my favorite things. They also film this club scene in it that is just like insane. The lighting, the filming, everything is so beautiful. And they did a really good and intentional job at picking apart and being like, I hate myself for the amount of times I've said intentional, but like they were just so intentional with the way that they lit certain scenes to make you feel certain emotions. And that's something I really love as an artist. And like, I mean, if you followed me in my work sphere for a while, you know I'm constantly talking about matching the lighting to the emotion that you want to invoke. And that's not something you see a lot, or no, because I think like most directors and DPs are pretty intentional with their lighting, but like this is a showcase of it. It's a focal point. It's not just like other things are the focus. Like the lighting in it is just know, again, be intentional on what time you watch this, how you're doing, do you have friends and support around? It's such a sad movie, but it's so beautiful, completely changed, again, the way that I view relationships and the way that I view lighting and storytelling. Whew. Anyway, I could talk about so many more movies, but these are my tried and true. These are the movies that will haunt me, stick with me. I will yap about them till the day that I die. Put them on a list. I love a check notes in my notes app. Make your way through them. If I missed any, or you have any that completely changed your life or your vision as an artist, please leave them below. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, like this video. I don't know, follow us on Instagram. I can't wait to talk more about stuff like this with you guys. Bye.